Have you ever replayed someone's cruel words in your mind long after they said them, wondering why they still hurt so much? Maybe it was a comment that made you feel small, weak, or not good enough. What if I told you those words only have power because you're holding on to them, and today, you'll learn how to let that power go? Most people don't realize this, but a single opinion can quietly shape how we see ourselves. It can change how we work, how we speak, and even how we dream. And the scariest part is this: the person who hurt you may have already forgotten what they said, while you're still carrying the weight. Here on English Story Archive, we share stories that gently uncover deep truths about life and self-worth. Today's story is simple, but its lesson is powerful. By the end of this video, you'll learn a small practice that takes just 10 seconds, yet can change how you respond to criticism forever. Stay with me till the end, because what you'll discover may help you stop giving others control over how you feel, starting today. Most of us grow up believing that other people's words are facts. When someone praises us, we feel taller. When someone criticizes us, we shrink inside. Slowly, without noticing, we begin to measure our worth through voices that don't truly know us. A boss, a stranger, a relative, even someone having a bad day. The truth is uncomfortable, but freeing. People don't speak from truth all the time. They speak from mood, ego, pain, and comparison. Yet we often accept their words as if they are final judgments about who we are. That's how power quietly shifts from our hands into theirs. Here at English Story Archive, stories aren't just meant to entertain you. They are meant to remind you of something important you may have forgotten about yourself. Today's story is not about fighting back or proving anyone wrong. It's about learning how to stay steady inside, even when the outside world is loud. Before we go deeper, remember this one thought and carry it with you through the story. Other people can speak, but only you decide which words live in your heart. In a quiet village, far from noise and hurry, lived a potter named Alara. Her days were simple and steady. From morning till evening, her hands shaped clay into pots meant for real life. Pots to hold water. Pots to store grain. Pots to serve families who depended on them every day. Alara was not famous, and she did not try to be. What mattered to her was care. Every curve had purpose. Every wall had balance. Some of her pots were tall and graceful. Others were short and strong. She loved them all equally because she knew the effort she placed into each one. One calm morning, Alara finished a plain pot. It had no decorations.
No panty designs.
Just smooth sides and a wide, honest opening. As she placed it on the shelf to dry, she felt a quiet sense of pride. This pot would be useful. It would last. At that moment, Alara had no idea how fragile confidence can be, or how easily a single voice can shake even the strongest hands. That same afternoon, a wealthy merchant stepped into Alara's workshop. His clothes were fine, and his eyes were sharp, moving quickly from one shelf to another. He did not look with curiosity. He looked with judgment. His gaze stopped on the simple pot drying near the window. He pointed at it and asked the price. Alara answered calmly, naming a fair amount for her work. The merchant laughed, loud and dismissive. "That pot," he said. "It's plain. There's nothing special about it. No design.
No beauty.
I've seen better work made by beginners." His words fell heavy in the room, like dust settling on everything. Alara felt her chest tighten. She looked at the pot again, trying to see it through his eyes. For the first time, doubt slipped in. Maybe he was right. Maybe her work wasn't as good as she believed. The merchant left without buying anything. Silence filled the workshop. The pot had not changed, but something inside Alara had. And once doubt enters the mind, it rarely leaves quietly. After the merchant left, Alara stood alone in her workshop, staring at the simple pot. The joy she felt that morning was gone. In its place was a heavy question she could not shake. What if is right? The pot looked the same, Yet her feelings toward it had changed completely. As days passed, the merchant's words followed her everywhere. While shaping clay, her hands hesitated. She began adding decorations she didn't truly feel, hoping they would silence the doubt. But the more she tried to impress an invisible critic, the less natural her work became. The wheel kept turning, but her confidence did not. Nothing felt right anymore. Each finished pot seemed flawed in her eyes. The peace she once felt while working had quietly disappeared. One careless opinion had done what years of dedication never did. It made her question herself. Without realizing it, Alara had given one voice more power than all the others combined. And that power was slowly stealing the joy from her craft. Before the story continues, take a quiet moment with me. Think about how often this happens in our own lives. One comment, one judgment, one careless sentence. And suddenly, we start doubting years of effort and experience. Stories like this are why English Story Archive exists. Not just to tell tales, but to help you recognize yourself inside them. If this story already feels familiar, it means you're exactly where you need to be. If you find value in stories that strengthen your mindset and protect your self-worth, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps these stories reach people who truly need them, and it keeps you connected to more lessons like this one. Now, let's continue, because the most important turning point in Alara's journey is just about to arrive. One quiet evening, as the lights softened and shadows stretched across the workshop, an elderly woman stepped inside. She moved slowly, leaning on a wooden cane, her presence calm and unhurried. Her eyes were gentle, the kind that seemed to truly notice things. "I'm looking for a pot to carry water," she said softly. "Something strong. Something I can rely on." Alara showed her the newer pots, the ones with added designs and careful patterns. The woman examined them, then slowly shook her head. Her eyes drifted toward the simple pot on the shelf. "That one," she said, pointing. "It feels right." Alara hesitated. "Are you sure?" she asked. "Someone told me it wasn't very good. Said it lacked artistry." The old woman lifted the pot carefully, turning it in her hands. She felt its balance, its smooth surface, its weight. A small smile appeared on her face. "This pot," she said gently, "knows exactly what it is." The old woman continued to examine the pot, her fingers moving slowly along its surface. "The walls are even," she said. "The weight is balanced. This pot will hold water without leaking. That is not a small thing." Alara listened quietly. The woman then looked up and asked, "Who told you this wasn't good?" Alara explained about the merchant and his harsh words. She spoke without anger now, only tired honesty. The woman nodded as if she had heard this story many times before. "I've lived long enough to meet many people," she said. "Some walk through life searching for value. Others only see flaws, because that's what lives inside them." She placed the pot gently on the counter. That man spoke from his emptiness, not from truth. His words did not change this pot. It is still what it was meant to be. Something softened inside Alara's chest. For the first time, she wondered if the problem had never been her work at all. The old woman reached into her bag and pulled out a small, round mirror. Its wooden frame was worn smooth, as if it had been held many times before. She placed it gently into Alara's hands. "My grandmother gave me this," she said. "She taught me something I never forgot. When someone speaks harshly about you, look into a mirror like this. Not to judge yourself, but to remember who you truly are." Alara looked at her reflection. She saw tired eyes, steady hands, and a woman who had shaped clay for years with care and patience. "Other people's words show you how they see the world," the old woman continued. "They do not show you the truth about yourself. A thorn only hurts when you press it into your skin. If you set it down, it loses its power." The words settled deep. Alara felt it clearly now. She had been pressing those harsh words into her heart again and again. And she finally understood something important. It was time to let them go. After the old woman left with the pot, Alara remained standing in her workshop, the small mirror resting in her palm. The room felt the same, yet something inside her had changed. She thought about the many pots she had made over the years. Pots that held water through long summers. Pots that fed families. Pots that were used every single day. Those voices mattered too. She had simply forgotten them. The next morning, Alara returned to her wheel. She centered the clay and began to shape it slowly. Her hands moved with confidence again. She didn't try to impress anyone. She made what felt honest and strong. Some people would like her work. Others would not. And for the first time, she accepted that both could be true at the same time. Their opinions did not change the care she put into her craft. The mirror stayed on her workbench. Not as a decoration, but as a reminder. Her worth had never been in someone else's words. It had always lived within her hands. Weeks later, the merchant returned to Alara's workshop. His tone was different this time. Calmer. Almost respectful. He explained that people in the village had been talking. They said her pots lasted longer. They trusted them for daily use. I misjudged your work before, he admitted. I'd like to place an order. Alara listened politely and nodded. She thanked him, but something felt different. His approval did not lift her the way his criticism once crushed her. It passed through her like a breeze. As he left, Alara realized something powerful. Praise and criticism come from the same place. Outside. Neither one defines who you are unless you allow it to. The ground beneath her felt steady, built from effort, purpose, and truth. Other people's words were just weather passing by. And she no longer adjusted her direction based on every passing storm. This story isn't only about Alara. It's about you. Every day, you hear voices telling you who you should be, what you lack, or how you fall short. Some are loud. Some are subtle. But none of them know your full story. Here is the simple practice the old woman passed down. Every morning, when you look in the mirror, say one true thing about yourself. Not something perfect. Something real. I try my best. I keep going. I have a kind heart. Say it out loud. Let your own voice be the one you trust. Do this for 10 days. Watch how your strength grows quietly, from the inside. This small habit doesn't change the world around you. It changes how much power the world has over you. And that makes all the difference. If this story spoke to you, you're not alone. Many people are quietly carrying words that were never meant to stay with them. Sometimes, all it takes is one reminder to begin letting them go. I'd love to hear from you. In the comments, share the one true thing you'll say to yourself in the mirror tomorrow morning. Your words may be exactly what someone else needs to read today. If you know someone who's been doubting their worth because of someone else's opinion, share this story with them. A simple share can reach a heart at the right moment. And if stories like this help you feel steadier and stronger, stay connected with English Story Archive. There are many more stories waiting to remind you of who you truly are. Before we part, remember this. You were never meant to carry every opinion that comes your way. Some words are wisdom. Others are just noise. Learning the difference is a quiet kind of strength. Your value does not rise when people praise you, and it does not fall when they criticize you. It stays the same, steady, and real, because it comes from what you're made of on the inside. Thank you for spending this time with English Story Archive. Your presence here matters more than you know. Until the next story, be gentle with yourself, trust your own voice, and remember this simple truth. Your worth was never in their words. It never was.